Welcome to the Unwashed Asses, episode 83, recorded for Monday, February 18th, 2019. Do we need an intro? Do we? I feel it's either a or a sigh. Figuring this out. Figuring it out with you. It's like a young relationship where we're still not sure. Is it okay if I hold their hand? When's too early for a kiss? But, we get through it together. You'd think after 2 years I would have figured it out, but sometimes we go a little bit slower than others. That's fine. You don't always have to rush into it, Be like a couple matches. Burn out real quick. No, it's just, it's hard to get started, and transitions are even worse. So, went to Ikea over the weekend. First time. I don't know. I don't want to say few and far between, but unless you're near a major city, I don't think they're too prevalent, and it's almost exhausting to think about. We decided to go, not that we needed anything. It was just the lady hadn't been in a while, and I have never been, so we were up for a jolly old adventure, and I was just in a shit mood to begin with. So getting to Ikea didn't exacerbate the problem, but I was less generous and less polite than I usually am. Less forgiving, I should say. Not that anybody wronged me, just general offense by being alive. No, so we get there and it's a big old warehouse. For those of you that are familiar with Ikea, sorry if I'm, dumb about this, but again, never been. I've driven by one plenty of times, but never actually gone. Never had a need. So it's a big, gigantic warehouse. They have their own street named after them. You go down there, you find parking, and she had been talking about how we need to leave early and kind of not necessarily beat the rush, but get there when there's fewer people there, because apparently this shit fills up real fucking fast. And so we got there around between noon and 1, and motherfucker, not that I doubted her, but I was shocked at just the throngs of people there. So we find our parking spot, we walk on in, and it's not what I was expecting from a store, especially for one of such reputation. And again, forgive my ignorance here, but the way that it's all laid out, where at least with this particular store, you have a cement walkway that you follow, and it takes you kind of like going through the exhibits at a zoo. It takes you through every product they offer, and instead of having everything on shelves, it's set up in rooms, and then you take pictures, or you grab a little postcard and a pencil, like you're doing mini golf, and you write down the item numbers of what you want and where it's located, and then you go get it at the end of the tour. So it's I guess it's a interesting way of selling things, like showing you how it would actually be set up in real life and how it could be implemented. And I don't know if it made me any more impulsive or not when it came to buying. Ultimately, we only ended up getting a few things for my son, and I grabbed a new scarf, because scarves are the fashion accessory of the future. Get with it. But no, it was kind of like walking through a shitty museum. You inadvertently end up making these little groups of people, because you're all milling around at kind of the same pace. You came in the entrance at the same time, and you're ultimately just kind of going through everything together. And you'll see somebody duck out and then they pop back in later. Like they might take a shortcut to go through a couple of the different rooms and then end up back in kitchenwares with you. But we're all kind of doing the same thing of awkwardly walk into the room, look at all the shit, walk awkwardly back out, wait for somebody to leave the next room so you can go into that exhibit and see what animals it has on display. And it's interesting, but unless I actually need a fuckload of stuff, I don't see myself really going back. And that was kind of the problem with it, is I don't think it's a store that's designed for quick in and out. I compared it to, this is the type of shit that like Target would have if they actually had selection and inventory. But Target, you go in for one thing and you walk out with 20 other things because they're so kitschy, or you have to have this thing, and I'm just as guilty of it. And Ikea seems to be set up on the similar premise. Like, I got the same vibes. Granted, it was cheaper than Target, and they had a much better variety of things, but it's not a good place for in and out. It's like, no, I'm coming here to take care of an entire fucking room. Because not only is it, a bitch to get there, like, closest one to us is over an hour away, but you have to deal with this swarming mass of humanity and, try and find the one thing that you're looking for, and mixed with a display of other things. It's not like, okay, I know faucets are in this aisle, let me go and I'll look at all the different faucets. It's like, okay, I've gone to the kitchen area, let me try and find a faucet that fits kind of what I'm after in one of these displays, and just hope it works out. It's designed to be natural almost to a fault. Like, it's not good if you're looking for something in particular, at which point I'd say go to, not necessarily a more specialized store, but one that has a better layout that's more structured. So we walked through, and I don't know. I get their whole gimmick is Swedish, and that they have, all the items are named in what I would assume to be just Swedish. It's just the Swedish name for these items, but it was... Maybe I'm just being an arrogant American. It just seemed, the fuck's the word I'm looking for here? Pompous, I guess. Pompous is as close as I'm going to get, where I could and understand the people that go there. Yuppies. Middle upper class or lower upper class. Type of folks that have lake houses, like the ones that I go to, not the super nice gigantic mansions, but type of folks that have a map of the lake near the entry, and just kitschy signs and shitty furniture. And not that I'm saying that IKEA stuff is shitty, but it's definitely targeted towards a certain demographic of people that want to feel self-important, I guess, that they have a sense of heirs. At least that's the vibe I got from the people that go there, which is funny because we went to the one near Milwaukee, but I was definitely getting like Chicago style vibes out of it. So that was weird, but just, I don't know, it kind of like reinforced my overall feelings about people and why I don't like them. Again, granted, I was in a shitty mood, and we're just kind of milling about, and hadn't eaten lunch yet, which wasn't a big deal because I had a late breakfast. But we go to the cafeteria, and I don't know what I was expecting. I knew meatballs were their thing, like we have Swedish meatballs, but they're made of horse, but now they're not. But everything's kind of like a more upscaled version of mediocrity. Keeping with kind of like the museum comparison, or a zoo or an aquarium, take your pick. After going through the exhibits and you've wandered around for an hour and you're halfway done, it's like, all right, well, I'm feeling a bit peckish. Let's go to the cafeteria. And it's not like, oh, grab a piece of pizza or a burger or hot dogs. It's like, here's a chicken breast and here's vegetables. It's like an actual fucking meal. But it seems out of sorts at a fucking furniture store, and again, just comes off as arrogant. Feels too strong of a word. I'm gonna lean back into pompous, or I don't fucking know. It was out of place and a bit awkward, and everybody's kind of just sitting there eating their overpriced food. Maybe it's not overpriced, I don't know, we didn't eat there. I'm being unnecessarily harsh, and I'm trying not to. And so we go back in, we finish looking at everything, and then we go to the warehouse section. Warehouse, yeah, this is where the fucking nitty gritty is. Like, oh yeah, you've had fun looking, but now go find your actual shit. Now, since we weren't getting a whole lot of stuff, it wasn't terrible. We just went, we got our stuff. And this is where it's set up more in a traditional sense of like, okay, here's all our fucking glassware. So here's the dishes, pick the ones you want. Here's pillows, here's blankets. It was more organized. It was more like a traditional department store. This is my alarm. Go off break here. So we go through, we pick up all of our shit, and we go pick a line to go check out. And apparently Ikea is not immune to the same pitfalls of grocery stores where we have all these lines and lanes available, or that could be used, but only half of them are actively being used, thus creating long fucking lines. And Rachel was saying, oh, we've been standing in line as long as we are looking through the store. I don't know that it was true, but it was damn close. And we have the drama of, oh, well, there's the express checkout, but they only want 5 items. I have 6. Are they going to take me, or am I have to go back to the end of the line? And you have all these middle-aged to beginning elderly women like, oh, gasping and gossiping. And the pressing thought through my head is, God, I just want to stab somebody in their fucking head. Like, if I took a claw hammer to the top of somebody's skull and then pried it back like I'm removing a nail, would it make the sound similar to if you ripped a head of cauliflower apart? I don't know. Maybe. Food for thought. But we check out, we go home, or we don't go home. We leave, and we're like, okay, well, let's go get some lunch. And the idea is, we're out and about. We're doing something different, We're not going to our usual spots. We're searching for something new to break out of the rut, I guess. So there's a brewery that's just down the road. Like, okay, we'll try that. The Yelp reviews are wildly varied. Overall, they have about 2.5 stars, and I'm not one to necessarily trust reviews, especially from the general public, because one review was near illiterate, and the other one only gave the place 5 stars because they were 100 yards from a Tesla charging station. So the decoration was super nice. I really liked the vibe of it. Service, though, not so hot. Our initial server, we saw her, and then she disappeared. And 15 minutes later, another server came up and said, oh, somebody's not helped you. I'm just going to take over here. Which I thought, all right, kudos to you. Awesome. Just ask for a couple waters while we look over the menu. Takes him another 5 minutes to come back with water, and my glass was dirty. I didn't realize until I was halfway done. It was stuff stuck on the outside, so it's not terrible, but it was not a good start. Appetizer was good, but the burger, and I might just be done with burgers at this point, because if it's not like a fast food joint, like it's an actual sit down restaurant, usually they're too big, they're too unwieldy, they're too messy. It's just more we got away from the simplicity of the burger, and it's a pain in the ass to eat, and I don't want to go like the fork and knife route, because that's just fucking weird, and I should probably cut down on the red meat. But either way, order a barbecue bacon burger, medium's kind of my fucking go-to. I'll settle for medium rare. The reason I don't order it more is I don't trust them to, do actual medium rare. I more often than not, it just comes out rare, and that's no fucking good. So I lean towards medium, err on the side of caution. What I got, though, was a seared rare patty. It looked good. It looked really, really good. But again, because of how big and unwieldy it was, and dripping with grease and barbecue sauce, I'm like, fuck this noise. I'm gonna break my own rule and use a fork and knife and cut into this, and I'm glad I did. As soon as I cut in, bisect it, take a look. Outside looked perfectly done. Inside, completely raw, falling apart so raw. And at that point, my appetite was ruined, so there's no point in even sending it back. Between the service and, dirty dishes and a fucking shit burger, it was $40 down the drain. It was not good. Not good at all. So maybe there's a lesson in that, don't try anything new. Stick to what you know. But at the same time, having a bad time can also provide you with experience, and experience makes for good stories. I don't know if this one was good, but it gave me something to talk about. So, that's going to wrap it up for this one. That was 15 minutes of pure bitching. I'm sorry. We'll be back Wednesday with God knows what. But otherwise, until then, if you want to, chime in with your own thoughts on IKEA and shitty dining experiences, write the show. theunwashedasses@gmail.com. Again, theunwashedasses@gmail.com. And of course, if you want to support the show this year, all we ask is tell a friend. Let somebody know. Been watching the stats, and despite putting out shows more consistently now, listener, or at least the numbers are down, which I can't understand unless it's just the quality is shit. And for that, I apologize. I'm trying. But yeah, tell a friend. Let somebody know. And if you want to go above and beyond, of course, there's always Patreon. Patreon.com/0N09. That's ZEROAND09. Pitch in $1 or $2 a month. We got the January digital sketch up. February's coming this weekend. But yeah, otherwise, thank you to everybody that listens and supports. And we will talk to you next time.